Welcome to the League.
Today we are joined by Iyinoluwa Aboyeji, the co-founder of Flutterwave and Andela, and also Future Africa, a very special guest, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Also, thank you as well for coming, Iyinoluwa. And I know the last time we saw officially was at the Doing Business in Nigeria Conference,
that was an amazing conference.
2025.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congrats to you as well. You're doing amazing things for the business community in Nigeria. That's something that we recognize.
Well, thank you very much for the commendation.
Amazing.
We're excited about doing business in Nigeria.
I know you are. You're one person that I know is very excited about supporting the business communities and just looking for businesses with valuable and unique business proposition to probably invest in.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are curious to know what made Flutterwave and Andela stand out for you, that you saw as potential businesses to invest your time and resources in?
I always look at business from a first principles perspective and always from the point of view of where is the need. And I remember specifically for Andela, which actually came first, I was walking back one day to my house. Then I was living in Bode Thomas with my uncle. And I was coming from Yaba, and I had to go by National Stadium. And I saw this large crowd of people at National Stadium, and they had blocked all the traffic. And I went there, and it was very raucous. I was like, what's going on? And they were like, oh, some people came here for immigration service interview. And there was a stampede, and some people have died.
Oh, wow.
That was my first introduction to the world of unemployment as a fact of life in Nigeria. Not because I hadn't heard that people were unemployed. I mean, I had never tried to be employed in the first place, so I didn't really understand it as a concept that there would be actual people who would make the effort and time and even pay 1,000 naira to go and write an exam, and the end result would be that they end up dead. And that was when I was like, okay, this unemployment thing, we have to solve you. And that was how we started Andela, because the idea was we wanted to divorce employment from Nigeria's economy, which at that time was not doing very well. Since 2012, we've kind of been on a downward slope that we were on from 2004 upwards. And that's because, our country is a monoproduct country, oil. Meanwhile, on the internet, there was an opportunity for us to deliver services because we had such a large number of youth who were unemployed. But because we weren't organized enough to take advantage of that opportunity, Andela had to be built. For Flutterwave, what basically boiled down to was I realized that we ourselves, as we employed these people, we're having trouble paying them. It was expensive, it was cumbersome. Even receiving the dollars we need to pay them was expensive and cumbersome. And even our clients, I remember one time, my first client, and that was how I actually met my co-founders at Flutterwave. I used to have a no Nigerian clients rule.
Okay, that's
at
interesting.
Andela.
You tell us why.
So I only do foreign clients.
Okay.
But I always hoped that one day I would find a Nigerian client that would work with us seriously. And the first Nigerian client was Access Bank. And Benga Agbola at the time was leading application development at Access Bank. Basically, when I met him, we agreed, I gave him a developer, but he couldn't pay us. He struggled to pay us. So at first I thought, I think this is a big bank. This is why I don't like these Nigeria clients. But I realized that genuinely he was actually having trouble paying us.
Okay.
Because we had a way for American clients to pay us in America, but we didn't have a way for Nigerian clients to pay us anywhere. And at the same time, also, Nigeria had its own limitations in terms of its ability to make or receive payment. So that was how myself and Benga and Adeleke now decided to start Flutterwave, to kind of figure out how do we build a new kind of payment infrastructure. The only payment infrastructure that existed at the time was InterSwitch, and they primarily withdrawing cash from the ATM. And even that was a wahala. So that was how we built Flutterwave. So at the end of the day, everything boils down to what is the problem that you're trying to solve. Is this a hair on fire problem? We talked about jobs. People were dying from looking for jobs, right? Both from the hunger and even from the attempt to find.
Yes.
Flutterwave, people wanted to pay. They just couldn't figure it out. So are you solving a real problem? That's the biggest thing. And then I think very close corollary to that is how deep are you in understanding the actual problem that the customer wants solved? Because it's one thing to say, oh, financial inclusion. I mean, there are many ways you could have I'm always amused when I see decks of people who try to clone some of the companies I built and how far away removed they are from the actual customer insights that drives that deep understanding of a problem that leads to a very unique solution. Because there are many ways to solve a problem, but if that solution is not inspired by deep customer insights, it's just a matter of time.
That's interesting. Really interesting. I'm learning a lot, and we just started.
Absolutely.
You know. So I think that the next question for you, Iyinoluwa, would be, why Future Africa?
For me, Future Africa is a remarkable, we became Future Africa 5 years ago, 2020, because I woke up one day and I was like, you know what? I did 1, I did 2. I was actually working on 3, which I think 3 will be announced very soon. And I was now thinking to myself, okay, so is this how my life will be? Every 3 years, I just do 1 unicorn. And then I go and start taking. And what came to me at the time, and was really divinely inspired, was you have to build an institution that does this so you can scale what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And so I started experimenting. What does this institution, what should this institution look like? Is it a venture fund? Is it a entrepreneur support organization? Is it an association? Is it an accelerator? What exactly is this thing? And what I received clarity on was it just had to be an institution. Now, what is Future Africa? Future Africa essentially is built on a single belief, which is Africa's biggest challenges are business opportunities in the waiting. And but you need to back builders to go and turn those challenges into businesses. Because I can't build all the...
Absolutely,
I can't
you
build,
can.
I have to have a life, I have to marry, I have to...
Spend time with the kids
spend time
as well.
with my kid,
Yeah.
So I was like, look, and at this time I was married. I just had my baby, my first child, and my only child. So I wasn't excited about the prospect of going back out there and slaving like I had done the last 5 years. So I said, look, I was going to build this institution, and my job would just be to help founders to do what we had done the first 5 years, which was just build businesses, build fantastic businesses that can scale infinitely to $1 billion. And that's how it was born. And for us, we have 3 very simple tools. Provide capital, we provide coaching, and we provide community. So whether it's capital for you to build your business, we have different kind of funds that we have or advise that help founders access capital. Whether it's coaching, we have an accelerator program, but we also work one-on-one with founders, office hours, different things. And then community, we have both within our firm and in our network, a bunch of service providers, mentors, platforms, networks that help entrepreneurs to be able to accelerate everything from government, regulatory, to legal advice, to financial advice, to corporate access to markets. We have all of that within our network. So that's basically what we do with entrepreneurs.
Amazing. So the 3 C's,
Yes,
capital,
coaching, and
community. That's interesting. So what are the things that, let's say I want to approach you or somebody else. There's a business, Linda.com or whatever you want to call it, right? And I'm coming to you as an investor. What are some of the things that you look out for, that tells you this is the right business to invest in?
For me, the number one thing I look at is what in the founder's story convinces me that they were commissioned to solve this problem. Like what about what they have done with their lives the last 10, 20, whatever years convinces me that this person, your entire life experience has led you to this point where you solve this problem. And then the second thing I'm asking is, what unique customer insights drives your business? What do you understand about a customer that nobody understands yet that drives your business? That combination of those two things is what tells me, this person is special. Okay. And you'll be shocked at how many people show up with copycats decks. Is the easiest way to lose me, because it takes years to be the kind of person that can build a particular business.
Absolutely.
And it is only by going through that process you actually develop the customer insight, the unique customer insight that makes your business successful. So it's not something that you can copy off the internet. ChatGPT will not tell you this one.
Absolutely.
No matter how nice looking your deck is, it will show that this person doesn't really understand what they are talking about. I meet a lot of founders. I probably see thousands of founders because I give everybody a shot. But very few people, I leave the meeting saying, this person understands what they are doing. Very few people.
Let me ask you a direct question.
Tell me.
When we met,
yes,
what did you think? Did you say...
We're supposed to have an hour-long meeting.
Yeah. I like
you
that
capture my day.
Exactly. It was the entire day. We ended up talking for hours.
No. You understand your demographic. You understand your... that's why you have one of the most successful platforms for helping businesses.
I appreciate that. From you...
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I don't waste my time now.
I know.
So I won't be here if you weren't.
I know you don't. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. So Iyinoluwa, my next question to you would be, what are some of the existing policies that you think support entrepreneurs to scale globally? And what are other areas you think are being currently overlooked by the government?
Absolutely. So I think, first of all, let's talk about the fiscal policies, right? So Nigeria has always had the potential to export, but it was never really a realistic conversation for us to have when the exchange rate was artificially high. Because what that meant was that, you would export products at pretty expensive expensive labor, expensive sourcing, expensive everything, right? But now, particularly if you sell services, if you are exporting legal services and somebody pays you $1,000, that's 1.8 million. That's not small money. You can still do something, even in Nigeria of today. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At least you pay rent somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The second thing I think they've done a fairly decent job of is just helping to, just doing a little bit of work to just clean up the country's image. A little bit, not too much.
Okay.
Just enough that at least, there is a sense that, okay, there are credible entrepreneurs in Nigeria and you can work with them. So I think they've done that. And even just speaking, showing up at the right places, having ministers who can show up at the right places and just speak to Nigerian entrepreneurs can do X. That has really, really helped, right? And even just, our daddies like Alhaji Dangote and so on and so forth, their efforts at just demonstrating the scale that Nigeria is capable of delivering. I think we've done a fantastic job. So just a bit of the cleanup. And then I would say the final thing was, and this might sound very ironic, but you see, in many ways, the energy subsidy also held us back. because what it did was that it really helped a lot of people to be able to see clearly that, look, if you really, really want to build a business here, you need to look to exports. Because now your cost of production is not subsidized by government. So you have to be more efficient. You have to look for where you can get the highest ROI. So people are now more conscious of the fact that, this Nigeria la la land we've been living in is not real. Now, what is missing? Infrastructure. Infrastructure. Specifically 3 things. The first thing you need to be competitive at global exports is power. You need power. Can't do it as it's.
True.
Right? The second thing you need are ports. You have to be able to move the products as fast as possible. Right?
Yes.
Port infrastructure, warehouses, all that. And then the last thing you need is people. You need people that are skilled at actually, even if you are doing manufacturing, you actually need people that know what they are doing. If you're doing services, you need people that know what they are doing. Because we're now talking global standards, not
Absolutely.
local. So you have to be able to work at a global standard. And I know Nigerians have the capacity to deliver productive work at that scale, at that level. But they just need to be encouraged.
I like how positive you sound, that Nigerians have the capacity.
Oh, no, I'm not, it's not even.
I like it.
But you see, people
Because
will
a lot of
hear
people
me.
tend to, say a lot of negative.
No, me, I
things.
look at data. I'm not emotional.
I like that.
It's not patriotism. I'm just looking at the data.
Yes.
I've been part of global businesses. I can tell you for free, Nigerian talent is exceptional. Period.
I agree.
Period.
I agree.
There was an organization I was advising. They have centers all over the world. They were telling me that, look, Nigeria is our best decision ever. And you know why? Because all these are centers. They have centers in China, US, blah, blah, blah. They said, look, apart from India and China, and even with those ones, right, our people in Nigeria are the most productive. In the US, they're getting maybe 68% productivity. In Nigeria, they get 115% productivity. Why? People will just stroll into the office on Sunday because of snacks and power and internet. And for them, they'll come, they'll play snooker, and they'll just say, let me just put in some tickets. Nigerians will stay on the phone with a client for hours, trying to solve a problem. They'll say, okay, I have to move on to another ticket, but are you available on Saturday? Let me come and help you solve this problem. So once you give Nigerians incentives, if you treat them fairly, you give them incentives, there's nothing they cannot do. There is nothing, anyhow you want it, they will do it. So I'm very particular about scaling that. The only problem that we have here is skills.
It's skills.
Skills. Not enough people have the opportunity to learn what they need to learn to be able to contribute.
Do you see an opportunity in that regard?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Big opportunity. In fact, that's the biggest, today in this country, the biggest opportunity is to skill people for the digital economy in particular. That's the biggest opportunity. Because there's so many jobs out there that if you skilled Nigerians to do them, we will take over.
So that's a business opportunity for someone out
Yeah,
there. Who knows?
absolutely.
And you have a potential investor.
Absolutely. Me, I don't. So what I want, one other thing I say is that, look, never build for investors.
Yes.
They don't know much. Investors like to pretend they know everything. They don't know much. The one thing that people cannot deny is a good business.
True.
Because it shows in the numbers. So except you're a fool, you can look at the numbers and say, to be an opportunity for me to be part of this business. And so it doesn't matter whether it's me or somebody else, or you will be able to get whatever you need to build a good business. It's when your business is not good that you'll be chasing investors up and down.
I agree.
If your business is good, investors come, investors don't come, you'll be fine.
So there's an interesting, would I say trend, but observation about Nigerian businesses registering their businesses abroad and operating within Nigeria, right? Would you say that is a better approach to scaling globally?
Well, I don't recommend it. And I say this as somebody who did that. So my three companies were operated abroad. And I'll tell you why. I mean, the truth is, Nigeria has a very interesting way of treating foreign investors better than local investors. Very interesting. It's actually, if you see it, you're like, but me, the way they here, why you not give me all this? But it's just the way it is.
Yes.
Now, I back when I did it, I just looked at that trend and I said, look, you know what? It's better to come to Nigeria as a foreign investor.
Oh.
It also helped that I had foreign money in my business. So it made sense for me to come in as a foreign investor. But I haven't been here. There's a lot of hidden things. For example, most people don't know, but when you set up those Delaware companies as your parent, because you're Nigerian and you're non-resident, you will pay 30% withholding tax. Oh, yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. If you
30%?
exit your business, you personally will pay 30% withholding tax, right? There's all these other very arcane rules that you have to abide by. You have to be very careful when you're at the border, because if you by mistake say you have a company in the US, they may think you are working in the US without a visa.
Oh, okay.
So that means that you have to get like an O1 visa, like a special talent visa or an Ep.1 visa. So there's a lot of these things that nobody would tell you. The taxes are modest, but only if you're in certain states. If you make a mistake and you go and incorporate your business in New York or California, you're on your own, right? As opposed to maybe Houston or Florida, where the taxes are zero. So there are all these things nobody would tell you. And America is a labyrinth. There's so much. And legal services are expensive. Counsel is expensive. People are expensive.
So
I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I do, completely. So, okay, so your recommendation is to register within the country in Nigeria?
There are challenges with registering in Nigeria. I'm not going to tell you there's no challenge with registering in Nigeria.
Yes.
But I would say, look, depending on what your business is doing, I always advise people to look into the free zones. Because if you're exporting, that's what the free zones are for. And honestly, it's not that expensive. It's actually, by the time all things considered, incorporating your company in the free zone, if you're doing global business from Nigeria, I set you back about $2,000, which is not a lot compared to what you're going to pay. Because if you're doing a Nigerian company, you're going to have to pay 100 million naira stamp duty. So you're still going to spend that $2,000 you're avoiding. Do you understand? So,
yes.
And then if you're a Nigerian business, you can use like Itono. Itono is one of the more accessible zones, right? If you're exporting, right? So you can also use other free zone areas. Like Lagos free zone is very accommodating, right? There are a bunch of all these other free zones that are very, very accommodating to small businesses. They even have like standing facilities if you manufacture. Some of them would assist you with the export process and all of that. So there's a lot you can do in this same Nigeria if you're exporting. But the challenge with the CAC companies when you're exporting is the way they recognize revenue. So both the ones that are local and the ones that are foreign, you will still pay your 30%.
Withholding tax.
You pay locally. I think the profits tax on it is 30%. You pay your withholding tax, but it's about 7.5 or something. Okay. You pay your VAT, even if the goods are not destined for Nigeria.
So now let's get personal for a few minutes.
Of course.
Okay. So looking back at your career journey, what is one major challenge that you would say has contributed to the success journey as well? And how did you overcome that challenge?
There have been many, many challenges along the way. But I would say one of the biggest challenges is standing on your integrity. Because one of the things you learn very quickly in business is that anything can be justified. Yeah, trust me. if you give me any, I can give you fantastic reasons why you should just do what everybody can see is wrong.
Yes.
There are circumstances that you have to play the game to change the game. There's many very wise things you can hear.
Fake it to make it.
Fake it till you make it.
Many,
you know, there is a lot of very fantastic justification.
Yes.
And the truth of the matter is, there's nothing like karma. There's only forgiveness. There's nothing like karma. If the person that you say, is a bad person, then if he gives his life to Christ tomorrow, he will go to heaven. It's true.
I think we need to have another episode.
I'm telling you.